Welcome to my channel, ketomealsandrecipes.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make a healthier, sugar-free, gluten-free keto peanut butter cookie that tastes just like the American classic peanut butter cookie so many of us love. I'm really proud of this recipe because my peanut butter cookies has the perfect balance of sweetness and saltiness, and the exterior is crispy, but the interior has a soft texture and a melt in your mouth consistency. So I ask one favor, please watch the entire video to support my channel, because throughout the video I will share my baking tips and explanations of how to ensure that you can make a perfect cookie every time. The macronutrient ratio for my peanut butter cookies is 3.2 to 1, with 4 grams of total carbs, 1.3 grams of soluble fiber, 0.6 grams of insoluble fiber, resulting in 2.2 grams of net carbs per large cookie. Now let's make the cookies. Begin by placing a sieve over a large mixing bowl to which I'm going to add all the dry ingredients. Order doesn't matter, but I'm starting with almond flour, then adding the lupin flour, and my preferred sweetener, which is an erythritol and monk fruit blend. Next, I add the gluten-free baking powder and salt, which I ground to a very fine texture so it will distribute better throughout the batter. Then with a whisk or your hand, stir to sift the ingredients through the sieve, and when you've done that, set the bowl aside for a moment. In a separate bowl or your stand mixer bowl, which I am using, I also want you to note that I'm using my pedal attachment on my stand mixer. I'm going to add all the wet ingredients, and again, order doesn't matter. I begin by adding the unsalted butter. Next, I add the peanut butter. I prefer to use the crunchy peanut butter, but smooth works equally as well. It's up to you and your preference. And the egg, the maple extract, and then beat well until everything is well combined and homogeneous. Drop in the sifted dry ingredients and beat on medium speed until everything is well combined. But do remember to stop and scrape the bowl at least once or twice. This will make sure that you've got all the peanut butter blended with the dry ingredients. I find the dough at this point a little bit too soft to work with, so I'm going to cover the bowl with a lid, or you can cover it with cling wrap, and then transfer the bowl to the refrigerator for about an hour to chill the dough. This will make the dough much easier to work with, and because the dough is chilled, the cookies will not expand when you're baking them. I've taken my bowl out of the refrigerator and my dough is nice and chill, so I'm going to use a 1 tablespoon ice cream scoop, scoop out the dough, and then roll it into a ball. By the way, each ball should be about 2.7 to 2.75 grams, or about 1 ounce. After rolling them, place the dough balls onto a parchment-lined baking sheet, but do leave about 4 inches or 10 centimeters between the cookies. Even though they're chilled, they will expand a little bit. Now that I've rolled out all of my dough balls, now place a small square of parchment on top of the ball and flatten the cookie into a 3-inch or 7.6 centimeter diameter round. For this, you can either use the bottom of a flat glass, but I like to use my 1/3 size measuring cup because it has a nice flat bottom and it's exactly the right diameter for my cookie. And then just press down evenly to flatten. Once you've done your first cookie, do the same for all the rest. The classic peanut butter cookie has a criss-cross scoring, and I'm going to use the tongs of my fork to score the surface of each flattened cookie, like this. Once you've crisscrossed the dough of the first cookie, then repeat until all the cookies are formed and scored. I forgot to mention, you should have preheated your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius, and make sure that the tray will fit into the middle position of your preheated oven. Then bake for 10 to 12 minutes. You'll have to judge according to your oven. When the cookies are done, remove the tray from the oven and let the cookies rest for 15 minutes before carefully transferring them to a wire cooling rack. and then just let the cookies cool to room temperature. You can enjoy the cookies as soon as they have cooled, but if possible, let the cookies rest on the cooling rack at room temperature overnight. This will result in the best taste and texture of each of these peanut butter cookies. I like to store my leftover cookies in an airtight container, which I place in the refrigerator for about a week. Alternatively, you can freeze for several months. Also, you can freeze the prepared raw cookie dough after you've scored them, so you can bake them and have them nice and fresh whenever you want. That's totally up to you. My personal preference is to freeze the baked version because I can take 1 or 2 cookies out whenever I have a craving. And in this way, it helps me to portion control better. These cookies are really good, and I tested them with my non-keto family members and they couldn't tell the difference. So I guess this is a winning recipe. Because we're all trying to reduce sugar and bad ingredients, I hope you will try this healthier, sugar-free version of our beloved peanut butter cookies. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch my video. I would be delighted if you would share the link to this video or to my channel with someone you think might also like my recipes. Most of all, please come back when I post my next video. Until next time, have a happy and healthy day. Cheers!